Hi guys, I noticed a question type in the investments chapter that was a little bit tricky to start off with, so I wanted to make a video just explaining how that works. What it does is it gives you a scenario where it gives you a hypothetical investment portfolio. That portfolio is going to consist of some percentage of bonds, some percentage of equities, and some percentage of cash and cash equivalents. Here in the example I'm giving you, we have a 40% bonds, 40% equities, and 40% cash allocation. And then what it'll do is it'll give me one of those categories. I have to figure out the rest of the numbers. So for instance, it could have given me an example of, well, in a savings account we have $15,000, and in some CDs we have a total of $12,000. And it'll also tell me that my cash equivalents, cash and cash equivalents, are equal to the total of my savings accounts and CDs. So what I would do is just add those up. Say, well, the 15,000 that I have in savings accounts plus the 12,000 I have in CDs will give me $27,000. So now I know that of this total investment portfolio, I have $27,000 held in cash and cash equivalents. Now it's going to want me to figure out how much the total portfolio is worth, as well as how much I have in bonds, how much I have in equities. So that can be a little bit tricky if you're looking at it the first time. But as long as they give me these percentages in at least one of the categories, I can figure out the rest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this $27,000 in cash, and I'm going to figure out what the total portfolio is worth. And I'm going to do that by understanding that 20% is 1/5 of the entire portfolio. Just because 20% is 1/5 of 100%. So in order to figure out the total portfolio, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the cash and cash equivalents total, which is 27,000. I'm going to multiply that by 5 since it's 1/5. And so now I know that the total portfolio is worth 135,000. Now in order to figure out how much I have in how much I have in bonds and how much I have in equities, it's pretty simple at that point. All I do is say, well, bonds are 40% of the total, so that's going to be, the total is 135,000. I'm going to multiply that by the 40%. Same thing for equities here. Equities are also 40%. So that's going to be 135,000 multiplied by 40%. And in this example, bonds and equities make up the same percentages. So they would both be worth $54,000 toward that $135,000 total. That was the tricky part. Without that, it's hard to answer the rest of the questions. But yeah, as long as they give you as long as they give you the percentage allocation, and if you can figure out one element of that, then it's a lot easier to figure out the total portfolio. From that, you can extrapolate to figure out the remaining parts.